Hello, welcome to this week's video. Before we begin, I want to mention a few things. So, the last week's video was supposed to publish last week, but unfortunately it didn't, and I only noticed yesterday. And unfortunately, not only did it not load, but I couldn't actually attempt to re-upload it. So, this week I'm going to go over everything from last week, as well as what's going on around this time. Another quick note, I'm sorry about how it's not this Sunday when I posted this. That Sunday, I've been doing all sorts of things that day, and I attempted to record a video. However, I didn't actually notice that I hadn't started the video, and I spent 20 minutes recording it, or not recording it, you could say. And when it was finished, and I took a look, I realized, hey buddy, you forgot to press the record button. So here I am, I'm going to go over literally everything that I've done here. So a bit of backstory. A couple months ago, I think it was around January, I had an idea. This was going to be for a Mindstorms brick. Little program, something cool I could do in my spare time. It was going to be a video game, or at least a single battle, with like little stages and all that and all the cool stuff. However, not only was that extremely complicated, the new education Mindstorms is very limited. It does not allow for much flexibility, and some of the stuff that you usually would be able to do is limited. For example, custom sprites or drawings in this new version, at least at the time, you weren't able to do that. You could do the preset ones, but you couldn't do that. You could record your own custom sounds, can't do that. It's a lot more limited, and that really sucked for me, as well as the fact that you can only use, well, at least at the time, I only used one class, and when you get to like 500 lines in one thing, it just becomes unmanageable. So I took a temporary break from it, and I came back to it a few weeks later, and I decided that I'm not going to do it on that. That's stupid. Well, it's not stupid, but the fact that I was spending all this time just trying to figure out what I was doing was just a waste, and I need to try something different. So, what I decided to do, this came from a couple of videos that I watched while trying to make the original, and it was going to be for the DS. It was going to be the exact same thing for the DS. And when I looked it up, what coding language the DS and 3DS and all that used for its games, what originally came up was C++. I didn't really do any more research. I possibly could have used Java, but not only is Java slowly becoming just tiring, it was too annoying to work with. There are so many little flaws and details here and there that I didn't really want to use it for it. I wanted to not only learn something new, but I wanted to make something unique. Or I wanted to make something that when I look back, I can say, I made this game. I put in all this effort, and I learned along the way. I learned all sorts of new things. And since then, I've been essentially finishing with my Java class, or Computer Science AP. And the finishing part is the AP test, which I took 2 weeks ago, on a Thursday. And I am still somewhat upset at that, so please don't judge this harshly. But the way it's supposed to work is that you have to take the AP test at a certain time period. We were warned in advance. We were told exactly what room to go to and exactly the time. And here's the description. The time was to be 11:30 a.m., which, including the break, would allow us to be done by 3:30 p.m., assuming we started at 12, like what was expected. However, first, some teacher, or I can't really recall anymore, but someone, not a student, not Mr. Richard, who was my teacher. Just a quick note about Mr. Richard. He's a great teacher. Um, while many may say that he is just terrible at his job, it's kind of how my dad would explain it with math. It has to click. With Mr. Richard, it has to click. With other people, other computer science teachers, they will explain every little detail to you. And I'm not saying he doesn't. He goes on and on about it. And he's really good at explaining things. The issue is that it doesn't sink in. It's like trying to hammer a nail with a screwdriver or a drill, and you're not using the correct end, or you're just not supposed to use the tool at all. It just has to click for you. But he is a great teacher in his own respect. But anyway, let's get back to what I was saying about the AP test. So, some teacher essentially said that we were supposed to take the test in the gym. Now, none of us really followed up with that. We didn't even check, because frankly, this was either a random teacher or something else. But she claimed that art history was taking the test in the room we were going in. Either that, or she said that they were doing it in the gym, and yeah. At that point, we were all kind of confused. But she said, come back in 15 minutes. So we did. And by then, it was 11:45. We were downstairs, and we were waiting. And we waited, and waited, and waited. And we were missing class time we could have desperately used. And here's some things that I could have done during that time. I could have taken a major grade assignment during that time. I had to take the time Monday, and only yesterday I finished the project. It's not late, of course, but still, I had to take time out for myself because of their decisions. I could have done a history assignment in class instead of wasting more of my own time, etc., etc. The list goes on. And right around 12:30ish, no, more like 12:20, 12:15ish, finally someone goes to the blue room, the room we're taking the test in, and turns on the lights. That's right, no one was in there. We thought someone was in there, no one was in there. It wasn't set up, the desks weren't ready, nothing. And it was 12:15 to 12:20. So one person wasn't there for about 15 to 30 minutes, sorting out the entire room by themselves. Now, I'm not trying to say anything rude about that person. I believe that they should have deserved help so we could get to it faster. But we waited another 30 minutes. And then finally we were let in, and we could start the test at the latest time possible, 1. Another quick note about the AP test, and I understand why they do this, is a requirement to prevent cheating. We are not allowed to use our phones during the test, in between breaks, or frankly at all. Once we enter that room, they are good as done. However, that meant for most people that their text to their moms or fathers or whatever transport they currently had saying, oh, we'll be done by 3, oh, we'll be done by 3:30, are now off by over an hour because we had to wait an hour. And you know what else was on that day? The Final Day of Robotics. I missed that because they took an extra hour. Now, I admit I don't know enough behind it to say, oh, it's all their fault. At the same time, I wasn't explained much. It was just like, okay, come on in, we gotta take the test. And I don't know, it just didn't seem very fair to not only lose a ton of time, to me an hour is still a ton of time. Sorry, currently for this whole week it's gonna be a thunderstorm. The one time a year it actually rains, and it rains hard. But anyway, that was a rough week. I admit I'm going way off topic, but I'm just trying to explain a lot of what's been going on. Now, as for the week before that, that was preparing for the AP test. However, also, recently I've been doing job searches, applying to pretty much every company on the map that was close enough by, like Raising Cane's. The only exceptions that I chose to ignore was McDonald's, Taco Bell, like places like that. And I got a job on the spot. It took about a week and a half or so, but I got a job at Pizza Hut. Originally, I really wanted to work at Chick-fil-A, but they didn't respond. I called them up, and they said if they didn't respond, then they probably weren't following up. And I understand that. They really needed people, and I guess I wasn't good enough for them. Not trying to upsell myself, I'm just saying that there are probably more qualified people than me for that job. However, for Pizza Hut, yeah, I get hired on the spot. And now I work a job 5 to 10 on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 5 to 10 p.m. Unfortunately, that kind of makes my time a bit harder to work with. Um, the original week was actually not 4 to 8. It was, what was it? One moment. Can't recall exactly the time schedule I had. I know the 10 to 5 was on the Friday, except that day I didn't work because that was when I got the job. And then, it was 12 to 8. So, a lot longer than I'm working now, which completely outdid my weekend robotics, which also sucked. But at least now I'm able to attempt to put in these videos, and hopefully this one will upload. If not, I'll re-record this as many times as I need, just so I can get this information out. So now let's get back to the backstory behind the code. So, as I previously mentioned, I took a quick break and I came back to the Mindstorm's brick stuff, and I thought that was just way too much. So I decided I'm going to start keeping a notebook of just some notes of what I want this game to be, how I want it to be, some enjoyment, just keep some notes, doodle in class a bit, whatever. Just something to keep me busy and also to just jot down my ideas. And finally, after finishing that AP test, I can officially say that I can start on this project. Now, the project's going to be maybe a bit of a roleplay game, also like a fighting game. I can't exactly say for sure, but to begin with, I need a game engine. And to do that, I also need to learn C++, but since it's close enough to Java, and finally I'm not constantly taking that information in, I have finally been able to start working with this, and I'd say I've done pretty well to start with. Now, first off, I'm going to go ahead and download a few files. Now, these files are simply going to be for me, so I am able to use them. Let's see here, because I want to be able to use all these current files. these are going to be very useful as they allow most of the project to work. Show it in the folder. And let's just move it to my desktop. There we go. So now, let's get to this. After, we go ahead and put these files where they belong. Files. Let's go ahead and delete that. And we're going to put all those files in there. Pull out a new file explorer. Go to my downloads. Nope. Downloads. Nope. Let's try this again. Show it in a folder. Nope. Strange. Alright, cancel. Show you in a folder. You were removed. Oh yeah, they're on the desktop. I'm so out of it. I haven't gotten much sleep because of work last night. And I was very slow with getting my shower and heading off to bed. So today I'm kinda shutting down right now, you could say. But I'm gonna keep trying to get to show off everything here. So it's just real quick. Not my OneDrive, but my normal desktop. And we can just put that in here. Put you in there. Nope. Okay, fine. I'll just pull it up once again. This one. You. Files. And now I'll force you in. Boom. So now I'm going to go ahead and add these files. Add an existing item. Files. All of these. Did that work? Oop. It's loading. Is it loading? Maybe? Do I just say add a new item? Maybe? Add text file. Open file. Yeah, now there's a text file there. File location. There we go. This one. Nope. And finally, this one. So those are the current 3 files I'm utilizing to run my code. So let's begin. Let's go just from top to bottom. So when you code C++, there are a lot of files and little packets you need to include. These include string, IOStream, chrono thread, like all sorts of things to help your code run more efficiently and just be functional in general. So most of these, I don't know their exact purpose. I know some of them allow me to use commands that Windows H would allow, and you may wonder why I've commented out Windows H. It's because, as the title states, it's for Windows. If I tried to do it on DS or any other platform, I would either need to find more stuff for it or an alternative, and it didn't work on my online compilers, which sucks, so I had to find a way around it, and that's why I have Chrono and Thread. They replace what I'm currently using from Windows H. So a lot of these methods come from files, or use files. For example, this first one, called length of file, which takes in a file name, which is called my file, and it allows a file variable to be used. And I tell it to open the file, create a new variable called string line, and to do that I require to use this namespace std and then include string. I make an integer c equals 0, And if the file is open, I will have it run until the file ends, constantly getting the next line and adding one to C. And once it ends, it will return the length, or C. Now, if it can't find the file, or you screwed it up or something, it will say error, unable to open file. Alright, so let's go ahead and show this one off. So your main method goes at the bottom. And I think it has to do with how this thing compiles. It compiles from top to bottom. So anything at your top should not call to any other methods, or it needs to be put underneath another method that it runs with. For example, this one here calls to respond to user, and if respond to user was underneath this, it would call an error because it cannot find respond to user. But since it's on top, it will function perfectly. So let's put in a file name, and we're going to say game text.txt. Add this, and then we're going to add something called count, which is similar in Java to system.out.print. And it's just going to print out the length of the file. So let's go ahead and run this. Error, unable to open file. Printed 0 because I couldn't find it. Why is that? I guess we could use file location maybe. File location. Let's run it. No. Okay, is there... Okay, go all the way up here. Check this. Open that file. If the file is open... Wait, so it's unable to open that file. That doesn't make sense. You should be able to do so, though. That really sucks. Because this should normally work. I shouldn't have any issue like this. Because everything else was working fine. At least on the online compiler at school. So let's see if we can find the issue real quick. Maybe I'm not doing the .txt. File locations.txt. Is this the same one as other ones? Yeah, see, we're using it up here and here. So what is the problem? Yeah, I know you can't detect that there's any issues, but clearly there is if you cannot get the length of the file. Whoa, hey, what the? Okay. Let's clean that out. Go all the way back up. Excuse me. Huh. My file.open the file, string line, c equals 0. If my file is open, We could try a temporary solution, like just if true, which could work. It appears that I don't think worked. Yeah, that definitely did not work. Alright. Well, my file is not the end of file. Hit the line. Yeah, but it isn't anything in here that's wrong. It's what's out here. Alright, let's temporarily see if it's some other issue. If we take this, and we go all the way up here, and we insert this here. Oop, my bad. Wait, am I using quotations? Yeah, I'm using quotations. So what is wrong? What is wrong with that? File locations is exactly what it asks. Let's run it again. Unable to open file. Huh? I really don't know. Ooh. Ooh, that hasn't... I haven't finished that. Okay. I can fix that very soon. Why is this... Oh, God. Why now? You put in all this effort, you spend over a day's worth of time working on singular bugs, and then it just slaps you back in the face. Oh yeah, there is a lot of stuff in here that isn't fixed. Weird. But all this should work. Right? String statement, vector, thread. Alright, let's try something else. Let's try the online. See. Wait a minute. I think I know why. These are not in the right spot, are they? Because this text file here is now in here, even though it was just over here. But let's see. If I move that there. Wait a minute, where'd file locations? Okay. So let's open file locations. Let's open game text. And let's open game text speed. Now, let's run it again. See if that fixed it. There we go. See? Now, which file did we access? We accessed file locations, which is 20. So that works just fine. It was just because of what file I had it in. That was my bad. So let's now move on to this one and fix all the errors real quick. So first off, I'm going to copy and paste this over. A string file. String file. And then length of file, we put in file. And then the rest of this should be correct. So what a vector is from what I've been able to tell, it's kind of like a pointer method. It contains a bunch of variables and all sorts of other things, very similar to an array. Originally, my intention was to use so many arrays, but with C++, if you do not assign an array directly when you do a return statement, it does not save the array, which sucks when you're trying to do something like this, which does not help at all. So a vector was the only other option. But that's fine. Now, I'm not sure if this is completely correct, as it seems to actually create an array that's twice as long. This may possibly be because of the test insert. However, I'm going to go ahead and just show you this after I go over the next one, I believe. No, I'll go back to this one later, as this one requires another method if I'm going to show it off. But it's very similar to the previous one. A lot of these follow the same sort of pattern. It also counts it, but instead it inserts at test.begin, which is the first index position, plus C, and adds a line in, and this time it just returns the vector. Now this is a Boolean method called isAResponse. Now I know what it looks like isResponse. I have made that mistake way too many times today. But a quick note, instead of Boolean, you type in bool, which is the same thing, and you can convert a bool or boolean to an integer because it'll just do 0 or 1. Which makes sense, of course. Now this is very similar, except now we have... Ooh, okay, so is this my unupdated version? Yeah, this is unupdated. Okay, one moment, because I'm remaking this for efficiency's sake. There we go. So this checks if there is a response. Essentially, what gets put in here is a location or a response and the file name. And it does pretty much the same exact thing as pretty much every other one, except this time we are checking for if the line is the exact same thing as what I entered in. No changes, no nothing. They have to be exactly the same. And if so, it will return true, else it will return false. So this is also conjointed with something else. I'll get to that soon. This one gets the position of the line from file. As before mentioned, still very similar. Takes in a my file. It opens the file, create a new string, and C equals 0. This one essentially just counts the number of lines until it finds the exact line you're looking for. And it compares these two, and the compare method, if these two are equal, will return 0, so you put a not gate, so it does 1, or anything but 1, so true, technically. And then it closes the file and returns C. If not, it will return -1, very similar to the index of in Java, where -1 indicates that there's no instance of that in the array. And of course, the unable to open file. Sorry, it's a very long video. I'm sorry, but I need to get some words out as well as show this off. I think I should be able to put this out. I print this out, so let's copy it all the way down here. And then we're also going to do file, oops, my bad, file locations dot txt. Let's fix that D with a capital T. And then string find this, we're going to put, let's say, a 20. And it's going to return the position 20, hopefully. Unable to open file. Oh. Locaciones. L-O-C-A-T. Locations. Let's run that again. Why did I replace that with a T? I swear, I'm getting worse by the minute. File locations. There we go. And it's at position 20, like this shows. Because number 20 is at position 20. Alright, let's show off the next line. Now this time, it retrieves a line from file. This goes in conjunction with this one. And it's the same thing, except it returns a line. Whichever line that is specified at position. Now, this one was pretty much the only method I was going to show off last time. However, because the video had some serious issues uploading, and frankly, only let me delete it, I wasn't able to show it off. And I only noticed a few days ago. And just to let you know, oh yeah, I already told you why I wasn't able to do it yesterday, because I actually tried, and I didn't start recording. But anyway, let's move on. So this is my first method that I made. It's a void method called typing text, which takes in a delay and a string. And this is the original one that used Windows, the Windows input. So I had to actually swap it to chrono and thread, which allows me to use nanoseconds as well as the sleep. Sorry, it's getting a bit late. Also, I haven't gotten much sleep, as mentioned before. But first, I tell them to use namespace, std at this thread, and chrono. To tell you the truth, I don't know exactly what these do, besides allow me to utilize these lines. The delay is originally in nanoseconds. The other option is seconds. However, I don't want to input decimal points, so I use nanoseconds and then convert it to milliseconds by multiplying it by 1 million. But just what this does is it runs a whole string through a for loop, and it prints every letter out one by one at a certain speed in milliseconds. The way substring works in C++ is it goes from whatever position I is at and however long you want the string to be. So if it's 1, it's going to be just whatever I is at. If 2, it's going to be whatever I is at plus whatever's after it. And you also may wonder what this unsigned thing is. That's a classification for a variable that does not go into the negative. It can only stay positive. As it states here, unassigned used as I is never negative. Let's go ahead and show this off. Put that out. No. Put that there. And a normal delay, at least for what I've been using, is 65. And let's just fill this string with hello world. I don't understand why we tend to use that a lot, but whatever works, you know? Ooh, there are some oh, that's why, my bad. Typing text actually prints it out itself. I forgot. There we go. See? Hello world. in case you didn't see that. I'll slow it down to, let's say, 35, so you can read that better. Wait. Oh, my bad. Ooh, I actually need to fix that then, because... Okay, so let's do 85 then. Because one of my methods actually I hadn't set up properly yet. I made a note to test it, because I hadn't... On online compilers, you cannot check for delay time. Because online, this method straight up waits until all the delays are made and then just prints out the string. Which sucks. But I'm still trying to get things to work. Anyhow, let's move on to the next one. Oh no. There. Let's see. And we have 2 left, which is respond to user, which is the one I was talking about, which I screwed up because it Wait. Oh yeah, right here. See all these? These are the delay times for typing text. So in reality, slow should be, let's say, 85, very slow, 105, and no delay will be 0. There we go. But this is essentially a congregation of a lot of methods. So what it does is it retrieves the line from a file at a position of a string and a file. It gets the position and plugs it into retrieve line, and then it uses another file to get that specific line. So kind of the way I'm doing this is kind of how you would line up paper and write down numbers on it. So let's kind of use sticky notes for this. No. Pull up sticky notes. No, not that kind. Alright, fine, we'll just do this then. Alright. So let's say we're going to have 2 files. One of them's just going to be location. The other one's going to be notes. And location's going to have positions, let's say going from 1 to 10. And notes are just going to have random lines of code. There. So the way it kind of works is like you stack up papers. So I'm just going to put them next to each other to show off the information. So what this respond to user is doing is it's taking in a string input, and it's going to find the position that was entered. So if I type in 1, it's going to look for the string titled 1, which is here. If I were to say like 6, it would check 6, and then it will go ahead and plug that in. But now it's going to look at notes, and it will return TGS in typing text. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to leave this up for a sec so you can look at it. You can always pause the video if you want so you can observe it a bit more. And once all that is said and done and it returns it, I'm going to check in this speed file, which I just randomly, well, I copy-pasted the same pattern over and over. Standard, 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 slow, none, none, slow. Standard, very slow. And now, it's going to also check to see if those strings are correct. And if so, it will run a typing text with a certain speed. So 65 for standard, 85 for slow, 105 for very slow, and 0 for none. So this I cannot test currently because I have to use the final one down here, which is take response. Now, it's a lot easier than it is in Java, where you have to use a keyboard input and all sorts of random little bits here and there. You gotta use, like, I can't even remember, but it's way too excessive compared to what we have now. All you gotta do is put sin. Sin is like an input. In for input. Out, output. And I put this into a string input, and then check in the is a response to see if it's true. Is a response right here. And if true, it'll return a true, and then call the respond user, which is this one. Originally it was a bit more complicated, but I simplified it a bit. And if not, it will return error, not response, and then recall it. Now this can cause a problem if it is not defined in the current file, and it can cause a potential loop with no end, essentially until either you quit or your memory overloads. Though I sincerely doubt that happens because this thing should automatically clear out any junk data. But let's just show off take response. Let's just plug it in right here and Control F5. So let's first start by just typing in some random gibberish. Error, not response. Not response. Not response. You get the point. But now, let's put in a number, 11. That's referring to position 11 of file locations. And it called game text and the speed. And let's check position 11. Position 11 game text is Barry. Now this, I just straight up copied a segment of the B-movie script because that's just what came to mind. And for number 11, it's very slow. So as you saw there, it went very slow. So I'm going to show it off one more time. Just type in some random stuff. Oops. Nope, go back to that. There we go. And then now let's say 20. There we go. So let's show off one more thing, which was the print out all lines. Retrieve entire file. Ooh, did I accidentally get rid of that? Ooh, I may have. Okay, no big deal. I can get that old version right up. No big deal because Google has the revert feature. Essentially, you can go back a bit and find out exactly what you need. Here it is. Typing text from vector. So I'm going to go ahead and just paste that down. Actually, it needs to be below typing text because it needs to be able to call typing text. Without it, it won't work. So, what this does is it takes in the delay and a vector. Vector string test A. It makes the vector you input equal to test. It does this namespace stuff. And then essentially it's like just an extra loop in which I take the test size, because it's kind of like an array list, so I can use size. And I divide that by 2 because of the way I'm using the input method, which essentially makes it twice as long, strange enough. I just divide by 2, so I get the exact amount. Don't worry, I've also tried it out with other things, so currently I'm having no issues. And I just do typing text, delay, test at J, and then I tell it to go down a line. So let me grab the retrieve all lines. Retrieve entire file. Let's do this. Go all the way down here. Retrieve entire file. And then let's also grab typing text from vector. Put that there. Clear this out. String file, we're going to call game text. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to straight up do this very easily. I'm very sorry that it's taken over 51 minutes for me to go over this. But I feel as if, considering the fact that it's been over 3 weeks since I've done my video, it deserves a proper explanation, as well as a full-on show of everything I've done. So, typing text from a vector with the speed of 65, and the vector that I return from retrieving an entire file. And let's take a look at a segment of the bee movie. According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way a bee should be able to fly. Its wings are too small to get its fat little body off the ground. The bee, of course, flies anyway, because bees don't care what humans think is impossible. Yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow, black, yellow, black. Ooh, black and yellow. But you get the point. It essentially prints out every single line of a file. Alright. Let's just close that out. But you get the point. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you sincerely enjoyed all of the explanation, not only of the game engine, also what I've been up to, what's been going on these past few weeks. I am going to do my best to get out another video next Sunday. Hopefully, I won't have any hindrance at that point. But for now, this is where I'm going to head off and drink a bit of water, because I've been speaking straight for 52, almost 53 minutes now, in 3, 2, 1, 53 minutes. I hope I'll be able to upload this all at once, as I know YouTube tends to have restrictions on very unsubscribed accounts, as in less than, per se, 1,000, because around 1,000 things start unlocking, such as the community tab and all that, which I kind of admit sucks, but that's how things work. But I hope you have a good day. I'm sorry about the extremely long delay. I will see you next Sunday. Not literally, but through another video, an update essentially. And I'll see you all soon. Bye.